The Cleveland Cavaliers have a glaring need for a backup big, preferably one who can space the floor and rebound the ball. In other words, they need a stretch big, and they need one badly. The problem is that stretch bigs don't come cheap, and the Cavs only really have the MLE to work with. Players like Christian Wood and Naz Reid come to mind as they will be entering unrestricted free agency, but they will likely sign for more than the $12.2 million that the Cavs can offer annually. This could mean that if they want a big who has proven capable of spacing the floor, they might have to take a chance on a player who's been cast aside by a handful of teams already. One such player who fits that description is Dario Saric. Saric, who quietly made his return from an ACL tear this season, spent the 2022-23 campaign between the Phoenix Suns and Oklahoma City Thunder, suiting up for 57 total games and working his way back into game shape. He is due to be an unrestricted free agent and will be entering his age 29 season. The former 12th overall pick is what he is at this point, and what he is a known floor spacer, the player archetype that the Cavs have desperately needed since the exit of Kevin Love. So what makes him an enticing option? To me, it really boils down to one thing in particular. Let's dig into it. Dario Saric is a floor spacer. His best skill set by far is his ability to knock down the three ball. Plain and simple, this is what has kept him in the NBA. He is a career 36% shooter from the three-point range and has legitimate gravity to him. Gravity that he could draw would be a great asset to have available off the bench for a Cavs team that didn't get consistent production from its reserve big sans Kevin Love. Dean Wade, Love's possible replacement, didn't fare well at all once he returned from an AC joint sprain in his shoulder. Prior to that, he had averaged 6.4 points, 4.1 rebounds, 45.2% from the field, including 41.1% from three-point range. The jury is still out on him. Lamar Stevens brings tough-nosed defense and a pretty solid mid-range game, but he is a career 28.1% shooter from distance, and Robin Lopez wasn't a floor spacer like his brother Brook. Adding Sarge to the bench could unlock a few more lineups for JB Bickerstaff to deploy and could allow the Cavs a viable option to turn to when needing to rest one of Evan Mobley or Jared Allen. He knocked down 39.1% of his three-point attempts this season, and although he only took 2 per game, which was a career low, the defensive attention that he garners is real. He forces defenses to pay attention to him, and thus opens up the painted area a bit more for drives to the rim. This is an area that the Cavs visibly struggled in this season and was put on full display during the playoffs. Honestly, spacing was an issue all season long, but especially at the 4 and 5 positions. Evan Mobley has shown flashes of a perimeter shot, but may have actually regressed a bit this season in that regard, and Jared Allen is a full-blown non-shooter. While this was navigated throughout the duration of the regular season, not having spacing from the bigs meant that teams were free to blitz and trap the guards without fear of consequence most of the time. That's exactly what happened in this series with the Knicks. Dario Saric would change that. He is comfortable bouncing out to the corner or above the break and waiting for the ball to find him where he can knock down catch and shoot triples. That's basically how all of his perimeter shots were taken. To be specific, 1.9 of his 2 attempts came via the catch and shoot, with the majority of those coming from above the break. He can operate from the inside out as he isn't afraid to get his hands dirty in the painted area and bang with the bigs. His touch around the rim is pretty smooth and was a key reason why he finished the season with a 71.1% field goal percentage in the restricted area. Outside of his perimeter shooting and work inside, Saric is a decent rebounder due to his size and solid positioning. He holds a career average of 5.6 boards per game and can muscle his way to a tough one every now and then. I attribute his general lack of boards mostly due to his role. He spends much of his time out on the wings waiting for the ball, so his rebounding totals may never be high, but that is offset with what he brings to the table as a shooter. It's also something the Cavs can reasonably cover up simply by sliding Mobley over to the center position when he shares the court with him, or when Mobley sits, having Saric out there at the 4 and Allen out there alongside him to provide the Cavs with the rebounding presence. I know that may not be what some fans want to hear after losing the rebounding battle 227 to 186 to the Knicks, but trust me, although the battle of boards was a big factor in that series, spacing was as well. The paint was often clogged, and Saric would help fix that. Defensively speaking, Saric is not going to wow you. We're talking about a 6'10" big who holds a career block average of 0.2. But with that said, the Cavs are well suited to make up for his shortcomings on this end of the floor. He spent the bulk of his time matched up with other forwards and limited them to 46.7% from the field, including 14.6% from three-point range. That's pretty damn good in my eyes. You don't want him getting switched out to on the perimeter for long stretches, but his length can at the very least be a deterrent, especially when closing out. Overall, Dario Saric would be a fantastic addition on or at the veteran minimum. His ability to both space the floor and work inside would pay dividends for a Cavaliers team short on depth at the 4 and 5. If he's available, the Cavs need to make some calls.